Hello everyone, it is Sydney, and today I wanted to talk about something that has been discussed a lot recently by Velvet Mochi, OK Chaeyoung, and another YouTuber whose name I'm forgetting. I'm so sorry, I'll put you in the video. I want to give complete credit to them because that's where I got this idea from, and that's where I got all this info from, and I just wanted to talk about it. While this topic has been discussed a lot, I really wanted to give my own opinion on it and my own thoughts and my own words, especially because recently I realized that I was pronouncing their name wrong. It's not Doni and Coni, it's Doni and Coni. I don't really care. I'm going to call them Doni and Coni this video. And they host Idol Room, which is a show which has idols on it. They do fun games and stuff. And I wasn't going to talk about this because everyone kind of knows at this point that they suck. But I wanted to talk about this because they recently had TXT on their show and they were very disrespectful. So let's just get into the tea, starting with Monsta X. I'm going to be quick with this one. So the first one I wanted to talk about was Monsta X. On their show, they basically asked them if they had ever been to some countries. Somalia, Iraq, Syria, Afghanistan, and they basically joked that they shouldn't go, that they should stay near the border, because in Syria, a lot of bombs drop, which... Ew, that's so gross, that's disgusting. And then they told Minhyuk that he looked too thin in a sort of not really a joking way. And even if it was a joke, you shouldn't joke about someone's weight gain / loss anyways. They also said, they only mentioned Wonho in talking about muscles and strength, and this just really irritates me because... Number one, they're only talking about Wonho for, his muscles, and that's just not a thing that we do here, and the Minhyuk weight thing just isn't okay, especially when he's been trying so hard to gain weight. But, yeah, that was the first thing that kind of set me off about Doni and Coni. At first I was like, oh, it's just kind of jokes, but it gets worse. Let's get into the next one. The next thing that I actually wanted to talk about was Mamamoo. This was mainly directed at Hwasa, so yeah, let's get into it. Basically, Donnie was being blatantly misogynistic the entire time, and also made some colorist jokes about Hwasa. I'll include the images right here, but in case you're, listening, he said, this time, Hwasa is in charge of yellow. If you didn't know, it's kind of a colorist word. I looked into it a bit. I'm not going to explain it. And he said, and she is in charge of flowers. Hwasa is yellow flower, but she looks like a black rose, implying that she was darker than her bandmates and just darker in general, which is very gross, very colorist, very ew. And I'll insert the clip right here, but he basically tells Hwasa to gather her legs, or to close her legs, because her legs were a bit spread, instead of, folded and proper, and, how a typical lady should sit. He was basically being very misogynistic about Hwasa gathering her legs, and it's just very gross and kind of shows how he thinks of women. Was this Connie or Donnie? I don't care, they're interchangeable to me. It was Donnie who was being blatantly misogynistic. I honestly don't know which one is which. But, yeah, so that happened, the clip's playing. Moving on to Twice. Next up, I would like to talk about Twice. This one's a bit more violent in a way, and a lot more serious, because he actually hurt somebody. He hurt Junghyun. So, they did a, dance game where whoever messed up the dance first would get hit with a plastic rubbery hammer thing. I'm not exactly sure of the context of it, but Junghyun ended up taking the hammer forfeit, and Donnie did not hold back, and he hit her in the head with a hammer, and afterwards, or as you'll see on the screen right now, she has tears in her eyes that she's trying to hold back. And in a later episode, I don't know if it was the same episode or a later episode, so don't quote me on that, Donnie was being violent once again and shoved Junghyun. And after Junghyun moved out of the way, he shoves Dahyun right after her, which is just so disgusting, because this isn't just being misogynistic or making terrible jokes about Syria. This is physical violence against these girls who don't deserve this violence against them. I hate watching it. I'll show the clip again right here with sound if I can find it. So, yeah.
정희 씨 목소리가 현주 씨 왼팔 예약이에요. 그 얘기를 하고 진짜 그 얘기를 하고
Next up, I would like to quickly go over what they said to Stray Kids in one of their Idol Room, Idol Show episodes. They were basically saying that Changbin was not a visual, which, what the hell, you're wrong, and that Hanjin was a better rapper than him all the time, which, an opinion, I suppose, but still, you shouldn't say it to their face. You're literally... And then they also constantly brought up the fact that Minho and Felix were eliminated off of the Stray Kids survival show, which was how Stray Kids was formed, if you didn't know, which is just really, really gross, and I don't like that at all. So that's what they did to Stray Kids, and now moving on to just random littler incidents. Next, I would like to talk about some smaller incidents, I suppose, ones that have not gotten a lot of talk or just sort of shorter, smaller incidents, including Yoongi from BTS stayed up all night to write them a song, and Doni and Coni ridiculed it and didn't even listen to it. And they called a member of 17 named Junghan, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the girl of the group because he had long hair at the time. And then NCT Dream came onto their show and they didn't bother to do any research into NCT Dream or their concept. And they were forced to explain it a lot, and it was just very annoying and very uncomfortable. And just also another one is just sort of in general, they sort of yell whenever girl groups do anything remotely sexy, and makes me very uncomfortable. And another smaller incident was the boys did a cover of IZ*ONE's La Vie en Rose on their show, and Doni and Coni basically mocked the dance and the girls, showing their misogynistic colors once again. And a member of Block B, his name is Jaeho, he has stage fright and he doesn't like a lot of cameras. But on the show, Doni and Coni shoved the camera in his face and told him to sing. And then in another incident, Doni grabbed onto a girl or a woman named Bommy, grabbed under her hair and pretended to, quote, flay her like a horse, which I have no idea what that means. And then a man named, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Haknyeon, was thrown to the ground. I'll insert the clip here. And some more. During Nature's episode of Idol Room, they asked the girls what someone needs to be an idol. Sebum says beauty, and one of them replied, "You're out," implying that she was unattractive or ugly. And another one is about NCT Dream again. Doni actually sat on Renjun's whole leg with his entire body weight, despite knowing he is heavy and Renjun's really small compared to him. It's just very uncomfortable, and it makes me kind of sick to my stomach to see him just sit on top of him, And onto a couple more small... I'm sorry, the audio cut. Onto a couple more random incidents. They made fun of a boy named Shuhua, I enunciated that way too badly, for not learning Korean fast enough. They also made fun of Taeil during NCT 2018's weekly Idol episode and made him feel very uncomfortable because he did not know teen slang. He also said that a person named Do-woon had no other talents except for drumming during Day 6's episode, and hugged all over Jihoon, 17, who has said before he's uncomfortable with skinship. I don't even stan 17, and even I knew that. That's how well known it is. And during their episode with FS9, they kept making fun of Hwan Young's long hair. And Back in 2015, when 4 Minute was on the show, Jihyun was told that she couldn't dance even though she had a degree in contemporary ballet. They also pushed a member of iKON named Yunhyung so hard his head almost hit a table. And they also rated EXO members based off of their looks, which made them all feel very uncomfortable. And in the episode that they did with ITZY, I don't know if it was Doni or Coni, I think it might have been Coni, climbed onto 18-year-old Ranjin's back, Ranjin, and his weight made her legs literally shake. So those are all the random incidents. Again, next we're going to be moving on to GOT7. These next incidents that I want to talk about piss me off so much. GOT7 is one of my alts, and Jackson is one of my alt biases of, like, all time. And these incidents really piss me off. Let's start with the smaller ones. First, Doni and Coni actually made GOT7 stand on freezing ice blocks barefoot. Yeah, that's the thing. And during the Lullaby comeback promotions, each of them made Mark cry. They also almost made Bam Bam and Yugyeom cry, and not like happy tears, like that. They also made a colorist joke against Bam Bam, where they said that his skin looked like Coke, like the drink, like Diet Coke, you know? And then the one that really pisses me off is what they did to Jackson. Jackson, if you don't know, is a very family-oriented person. He loves his family, he loves his mom, he loves his dad, he loves his home. And he's not Korean, he's Chinese, if you didn't know. So him getting to go back home to China, Hong Kong, to go see his family is a big deal. And Doni and Coni made a big joke about it, where they basically just pranked him, air quotes, saying that he would get to go back home and visit his family. It's so screwed up what they did, and I can't even articulate how mad it makes me whenever I think about this incident. It really solidifies the fact that Doni and Coni are absolute assholes, and this really made me, like, hate them so much. This incident is so disgusting. Next up, I want to talk about one more incident with NCT Dream, and then a bit more incidents with Blackpink. The incident with NCT Dream, I'll insert a clip after I tell you. They actually groped 19-year-old Jeno from NCT Dream's muscles. At the time, he was 19, and he was flexing for them, and they groped his muscles, which just makes me severely uncomfortable. Again, clip right now. And then later, I don't know why I snapped, with Blackpink, Jennie stated she has a low pain tolerance, and yet she was hit with the hammer. Before hitting her, she was told not to do anything bad to Doni and Coni because of it. And Jennie was hit so hard that she actually held on to her head because of it. The same thing happened with Rosé. He hit her so hard that she fell onto the floor. The floor! I need to edit that out. Okay. Yes. Those are all of the incidents capped off of Doni and Coni until we move on to TXT.
네.